Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The autumn sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the porch where I sat, nursing a cup of coffee, trying to find solace in the warmth it offered. The crunch of tires on gravel pulled my attention away from the swirls in my cup, signaling my mother's arrival. As she stepped out of her aging sedan, her expression was one of worry, a stark contrast to the usual joy her visits brought. Her footsteps were hesitant, yet determined as she made her way up the steps, pausing only to adjust the scarf around her neck. "Jonathan, we need to talk," she began, her voice laced with urgency as she joined me at the table. I nodded, setting my cup down. "What's wrong, Mom?" She took a deep breath, her fingers fidgeting with the edge of her sleeve. "It's about Linda," she said, her tone cautious. "I know it's none of my business, but there's something you should know." The mention of my wife's name tightened my chest. Linda and I had been drifting apart, the warmth between us cooling into a polite indifference over the past few months. Seeing my silence as permission to continue, Mom leaned in closer. "Your father's friend, Mr. Henley. I think Linda and he are having an affair. I've seen them together, Jonathan. It's more than just friendly." The air seemed to grow colder, the words sinking like stones in my stomach. "Mom, are you sure?" I managed, my voice a hoarse whisper. "Yes," she insisted, her eyes searching mine for understanding. "I saw them at the market, too close, whispering like lovers." A mix of anger and disbelief swirled within me. Mr. Henley was a long-standing friend of my father, his presence a constant in our lives. The thought of him with Linda was both absurd and oddly plausible. "I know this is hard, son," Mom said gently, reaching out to squeeze my hand. "But you needed to know. I couldn't just sit back and watch." "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" I asked, not sure whether to feel betrayed or grateful. "I wasn't sure, at first," she admitted. "And I hoped I was wrong. But after seeing them again, I had to speak up." The silence that followed was heavy, filled with the unsaid. My mind raced with images of Linda and Mr. Henley, the betrayal burning a hole through the remnants of trust one had. Finally, I stood, a newfound resolve steadying my voice. "Thank you for telling me, Mom. I need to figure this out. I need to know the truth for myself." Mom nodded, her face etched with worry. "Be careful, Jonathan. People do desperate things when cornered." With a heavy heart, I watched her leave, the weight of her words settling around me. The evening grew darker, the shadows longer, and as I looked out over the quiet street, a plan began to form. Tomorrow, I would follow Linda, see for myself what truths lay hidden in the shadows of our life. Unseen, I would watch and wait, the seed of doubt Mom had planted now sprouting into a grim determination to uncover the reality of my wife's fidelity. The following day dawns gray and overcast, mirroring the turmoil inside me as I prepare for my clandestine mission. I throw on a nondescript jacket and a baseball cap, hoping to blend into the background. As I drive towards Linda's office, my mind replays my mother's words, each one a hammer to my heart. I park a block away from Linda's workplace and settle in to wait. My hands grip the steering wheel tight, knuckles white, as I watch her emerge for lunch. She looks around, a habit I once found endearing, now suspicious. Her phone buzzes, and she smiles, a secret, intimate smile that I don't recognize. Linda walks briskly, her heels clicking sharply against the sidewalk. I trail at a safe distance, my heart pounding with every step she takes. She doesn't head towards her usual cafe but turns down an alley leading to a boutique hotel. My stomach churns. Hiding behind a newspaper, I watch as she meets Mr. Henley at the entrance. Their greeting is too familiar, too warm. He leans in, whispering something that makes her laugh, and my blood boils. They disappear into the hotel, unaware of the watchful eyes that follow. Minutes feel like hours as I debate my next move. Finally, driven by a mix of fear and fury, I decide to confront them. I stride into the hotel, my resolve hardening with each step. The lobby is plush and dimly lit, the air filled with a mix of perfume and polished wood. At the reception, a young woman with bright red hair looks up, her expression bored. "Can I help you?" she asks, her voice a monotone. "Yes, I'm looking for a friend who just came in. Tall, dark hair, with a gentleman." I describe Linda and Mr. Henley, my voice steady despite the chaos inside. She eyes me suspiciously but nods. "Room 204, she says, dropping her voice. "But sir, if you're planning to make a scene, I'll have to call security." I nod, my plan clear. No scene. Just need to talk. My thanks is curt as I head for the elevator, my heart a drumbeat in my ears. Exiting onto the second floor, the carpet muffles my steps as I approach room 204. My hand trembles as I raise it to knock, then falls to my side. Instead, I press my ear against the door. Laughter filters through, Linda's and Mr. Henley's, and a third, deeper voice that cracks a joke. The familiarity of the timbre sends a shiver down my spine, it's unnervingly similar to my father's. Confusion and anger swirl, drowning out reason. I knock, louder than intended. The voices hush, and heavy steps approach. The door swings open, revealing Mr. Henley, his smile faltering into a frown when he sees me. "Jonathan." What a surprise, he stammers, blocking the view into the room. "I need to speak with my wife." "Now," I demand, my voice a low growl. He hesitates, then steps aside, revealing Linda, her face pale with shock. Behind her, sitting casually with a drink in hand, is indeed my father, his expression unreadable. "Jonathan." Linda gasps, stepping forward. "It's not what you think." "Really?" My laugh is bitter, hollow. "Because it looks exactly like what I think." The room spins as accusations and denials fly. But through it all, one question burns in my mind, needing an answer. "Why, Dad? Why her?" His silence speaks volumes, and as the truth dawns, so does the depth of the betrayal. My own father, in league with my unfaithful wife, their deceit shattering the remains of what I once thought was a solid family foundation. As I turn to leave, my mind races with thoughts of retribution. The stage is set, the players revealed, and as the door closes behind me, the plot for revenge takes root, promising to entangle them all in its dark weave. The drive back home is a blur of red taillights and the rhythmic swipe of windshield wipers against the evening drizzle. Inside the car, the silence is suffocating, broken only by the occasional hiss of tires on wet asphalt. My mind is a chaotic mess, but amidst the tumult, a cold, clear resolve begins to crystallize. By the time I reach home, the plan is set. I need allies, and there's only one person I trust completely, my mother. I find her in her kitchen, the comforting aroma of baking bread filling the space. She looks up, her expression changing from contentment to concern at the sight of my grim face. "Jonathan, what happened?" she asks, wiping her hands on her apron as she approaches. I take a deep breath, the words tumbling out. It was true, all of it. Dad, Linda, and Mr. Henley, they're all involved. Her eyes widen, and she reaches out to steady herself against the counter. "Oh, Jonathan, I'm so sorry." Her voice is a whisper of maternal sorrow and rage. I shake my head, pushing past the emotion. "I need to do something, Mom. I can't let them get away with this." "What are you planning?" she asks, fear edging her words. "Revenge," I say simply. The word hangs between us, heavy with implication. Mom nods slowly, her face setting into a determined line. "Tell me what you need." Together, we sit at the kitchen table, plotting. Each step is meticulously planned, from gathering evidence of the affair to confronting them in a way that they can't deny or escape from. We decide to start by securing proof, knowing it will be crucial for whatever comes next. The next morning, I contact a private investigator, a contact of a friend who specializes in delicate matters. We meet in a nondescript cafe, his appearance as unremarkable as the setting. "Mr. Reynolds," he greets, shaking my hand firmly. "I understand you're needing discreet surveillance." "Yes," I confirm, sliding a folder across the table towards him. It contains photos of Linda, my father, and Mr. Henley, along with a list of their frequented locations. I need solid proof of their activities. The PI nods, flipping through the folder. "I can start today. You'll have your evidence within the week." "Thank you," I say, feeling the first thread of control weaving back into my grasp. As the days pass, the waiting is the hardest part. I throw myself into work, but my thoughts continually drift to the unfolding drama. Finally, the PI calls, his voice low and even. "Mr. Reynolds, we need to meet." We convene again at the cafe, the fall air crisp and unforgiving. He slides a USB drive across the table. "You were right," he says simply. "I got everything, videos, audio, the lot." My hand closes around the drive, the weight of it far heavier than its physical presence. "This is good. Thank you." That night, as I review the files, the final pieces of my plan slot into place. The evidence is damning, irrefutable. It's time for the confrontation. I call Linda, my voice calm, belying the storm raging inside. "We need to talk. Tonight, at the house. Please don't bring anyone." Her pause is palpable, a moment of hesitation that speaks volumes. "All right, Jonathan. I'll be there." After hanging up, I dial my father, repeating the invitation. The call is brief, his agreement grudging. With everything set, I prepare the living room, setting up a projector with the evidence queued up. As the clock ticks towards the hour of their arrival, my heart beats a steady tattoo of impending reckoning. Tonight, the facade will crumble, and I will reclaim my life from the ashes of their betrayal. The storm is ready to break, and I am its harbinger. The room is dimly lit, the only illumination coming from the soft glow of the projector, casting large shadows against the walls. I stand by the window, watching as headlights pierce the evening's gloom, one set, then another. First, Linda arrives, hesitant, her figure tense as she steps into the house. Moments later, my father follows, his posture rigid, bearing the weight of unspoken guilt. They find seats across from each other, neither speaking, the air thick with tension. I remain silent by the projector, my presence almost spectral. The time for words will come, now, the evidence will speak for me. I clear my throat, and they both startle, their eyes snapping to mine. "Thank you for coming," I begin, my voice steady despite the tempest within. "Tonight, I need to show you both something." I pause, letting the gravity of the moment sink in. "Something important." With a click, the projector whirs to life, casting the first image onto the wall, a video of Linda and Mr. Henley, their intimacy undeniable. Linda's face pales, her eyes darting towards the door, then back to me. My father's jaw clenches, his eyes fixed on the unfolding scene. The video shifts, now showing my father with them, his laughter mingling with theirs, a toast shared between traitors. The betrayal cuts deeper, each scene a twist of the knife already lodged in my back. As the final clip plays, I turn to them, my gaze hard. "I needed you both to see this. To understand the depth of your betrayal." Linda rises, her voice trembling. "Jonathan, I..." "Save it," I snap, the anger boiling over. "I trusted you. Both of you. And you betrayed me." My father stands, his demeanor changing, a strange calm overtaking him. Son, there's more to this than you know. What could possibly explain this? I challenge. He sighs, a long, weary sound. It was all staged, he says, and it feels like the room tilts on its axis. Staged? I echo, disbelief coloring my tone. Yes, Linda chimes in, her voice steadier now. We wanted to test you, to push you to your limits. Test me. For what? My confusion mounts with each passing second. To see if you would fight for what you believe in, for your family, my father explains, a serious note in his voice. It was wrong, and I regret it deeply. I stagger back, the revelation hitting like a physical blow. You played with my emotions, my life, as what? Some twisted test. Linda steps forward, her expression remorseful. Jonathan, I've been feeling us drift apart. I needed to know if there was something left worth fighting for. And I, my father adds, needed to know you could handle the company, handle any crisis with resolve. The room spins, their words a cacophony of madness. Yet, through the haze, an idea takes root. They orchestrated this charade, but the game isn't over yet. I nod slowly, the pieces falling into place. If it's a test you want, then it's a test you'll get. But not like this. We play by my rules now. Their eyes widen, unsure. I accept your challenge, I declare, my voice a mix of iron and ice. But from now on, we do this openly. No more secrets, no more games. We work together to rebuild what was broken here tonight. Relief and surprise flicker across their faces. Thank you, Jonathan, Linda says, her voice soft. My father nods, a solemn agreement to the new terms. I'm sorry, son. We never meant to hurt you. As they leave, the weight of their deceit remains, but so does a new sense of purpose. I'll rebuild, yes, but on a foundation of honesty and respect. The projector clicks off, the room darkening, but my resolve has never been clearer. In a twist of fate, their deception has sparked a new beginning, one where I hold the reins. Tonight, I step out of the shadows they cast, ready to lead with a newfound wisdom and strength. The game continues, but this time, I am the architect of its rules.